Greetings and salutations, guys. Welcome back to the ALEuminati. Or, if it's your first time here, hi, welcome. We're fucking nuts. You'll be offended in 3 minutes and gone.
If you're easily offended, I said this before.
Nice to know you.
Go watch Disney Plus.
But anyway, this week, I want a fun one again. Look at that.
All I'm going to say is, what the actual fuck? When you know what it is in the title because you've already clicked on, unless you clicked on blind and then more for you. But when you said to me, "Ooh, we need to do this in the chat," I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
This is my second one in a row now, because last week were just Saddam Hussein have a Stargate. This week is Donald Trump a time channel. I'm pretty sure you look at our chat and go, is he trying to destroy this fucking channel? Is he even taking this seriously?
I do wonder. It's like, is Badger pissed in the day?
That doesn't make any difference.
Yeah. But I was like, you said, let's do this. And I was like, what are you on about? And I said, is this a joke? He went, no, it's real, look. He sent me a link. I was like, what in the world?
But I'm sure sometimes you look at it and just go, I'm equally curious and petrified to see what your browsing history is if you've got this shit.
I've got no idea. And then you sent me the synopsis and I went, surely this has got nothing to it. And then you went, oh no, look at the rabbit hole. And then I followed the white rabbit, I followed Alice in Wonderland down the fucking rabbit hole, and now we're here today. And all I'm going to say is, I say this every week, Badger's a dickhead. Because I did not need this in my life or in my brain.
You can't unlearn this. You can't unknow it.
You can't. And now, anyone who's watching this video, as purpose as they come to find this, I'm all fool you too. This is batshit crazy.
It's
right?
funny though. I mean, and the thing is, you go down the rabbit hole with Donald. When you say is Donald Trump a time traveller, you go, no, dickhead, go away. But there's a rabbit hole to this, and it is quite interesting. And you've got to admit, last week's episode, when I turned to you and went, just Saddam Hussein have a Stargate,
And
you
I
went,
said that as well.
fuck off.
Yes, I did.
It's actually a really good episode.
All I'm going to say is, when this channel was set up, I think I said, we've probably got 100 to talk about.
When you give me a list of 100.
Yes. And then, 3 of them, the last 3 we've done, I've not been on that list. Here's the Badger's going, what about this nonsense? Just blow some nonsense at me. And I'm like, well, what is this shit? This is not like a proper conspiracy, this is...
I remember like, when we started, you had this list of 100 conspiracies.
I did.
And then we were going through it like, should we do number 38 this week? Yeah, why not? Oh, we'll do number 22 next week. Now it's just like, right, what we doing this week? This one.
It literally is, a cat's been licking its ass, coughs up a furball and went, that's the one we're doing. What furball has Badger got this week?
You have to spend the week researching it.
That's the worst thing. Right. You have the cat hairball in your brain, you cough it up, and then you go, right, we should do this. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to, you do know I'm going to have to spend, because you know like, what I'm like, I'm going to have to spend tens of hours researching this hairball you just coughed up. Because I can't come into it half-hearted.
So it's a big ass bottle of homebrew cider. But no, that's fine. We take this seriously, so even if you go, no, that's ridiculous, fuck off, Badger. No, we're doing that this week. You can't just go, right, I've read that for an hour, I know what we're talking about. You have to put tens and tens of hours into this to make sure you do it right.
So that when I come at the end of it and I go, this is my answer, I can go, it wasn't based on a whim. We've not even started the video, we just had a ramble. This could even be missing minutes. But if not...
So, we'll get on to the theory of it. I just wanted to like Craig at eyes. I'm not like an evil guy. So that you get that out of your system before we get going.
Oh.
Right.
And they said next week is going to be, is Badger a Yeti? I think that's our next week's video. And we're going to strip you down to your unders and see for certain live on camera.
He's Badger a dick.
Oh, we know that.
We know that.
There's no stripping required.
So the theory of is Donald Trump a time traveller?
It sounds ludicrous.
It does, and it gets even better.
even more ludicrous,
Yeah.
with sprinkles of doubt and sprinkles of conspiracy going, ooh, a little betrayal.
Yeah. So this all started when someone came across some books on the Office of Congress's library website. Right? The book's called Baron Trump's Marvellous Underground Journey.
That's the first one.
Right?
Yeah.
And then 1900 or The Last President. Right? Both were written in the 1890s by Ingersoll Lockwood. Right?
Wasn't there another one? The Travels, Adventures of Little Baron
The
Trump,
Adventures of
Dog Bulger as well.
Yeah,
Two.
I've got that written somewhere.
So there's 3 books overall.
Here we go. Baron Trump's Marvellous Underground Journey, The Last President by 1900, and there's a third one.
Yes.
It's Adventures of Baron Trump or something.
Yeah, it's The Adventures of Little Baron Trump and His Wonderful Dog Bulger. So it's 1890, 1896 and 1898.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much from the third book, I think, is there? It's in the first two
Yeah,
that the theory mainly focuses on. So,
yeah.
but
But just for completeness.
yeah. But, yeah, straight away, people have linked this to Donald Trump because he's got a son called Baron Trump.
Yes, and Little Baron Trump is the main protagonist of the story.
Yeah. Now, the plot of the first book about Baron Trump includes a story of a young boy who finds a secret portal and time travels.
Yes, okay.
Right. And there's a quote which was there are some incredible connections to be made to the first family in the United States and Lockwood's novel from the turn of the 19th century. For starters, the main character's name is the same as President Donald J. Trump's son, albeit spelled differently. Trump's adventures begin in Russia and are guided thanks to the directions provided by the master of all masters, a man named Don.
We'll talk about Don later.
Right. So this is where Reddit goes mental because they're like, oh, it's Baron Trump. Is Donald Trump's son, and his mentor is called Don. That's short for Donald. It's.
Well, I'm not going to try and debunk now. We'll talk about all this, and we'll come to at the end. We'll talk about what Don actually means.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it after.
Before leaving for his voyage through the unknown, Trump is told of his family's motto: "The pathway to glory is strewn with pitfalls and danger."
Yes,
Right.
it's true.
Yeah. Lockwood wrote a sequel series of novels 4 years after the initial publication of his first book. In his third novel, 1900, or The Last President, things link eerily to the present day. The story begins with a scene from a panicked New York City in early November. It describes a state of uproar after an election in which an enormously opposed outsider is granted power. Yeah, sounds a lot like Trump's election, doesn't it?
A little bit.
After the chaotic scene in New York City, we find out that the man who won the presidency is extremely wealthy and resides on Fifth Avenue.
I wonder who that could be.
Trump Tower is on Fifth Avenue.
So Fifth Avenue has Trump Tower and the chaos. And the November date that they gave with the inauguration, not the
The inauguration, it's the election.
the election date.
So the election's in November, the
Yeah.
inauguration in January.
The election date of when Trump
Yeah.
in 2016, 17, whatever it was.
Right.
It's an interesting date.
As crazy as this sounds, because it's, you know, now got Baron Trump and his mentor Don, and the election is eerily similar to Donald Trump, and it's the crowd attack this building on Fifth Tower, where this incredibly wealthy guy who won the election resides, which is, you know, Fifth Avenue, which is where Donald Trump lives, with Trump Tower. There's another little bit in there where when he becomes president and he's choosing people for his cabinet, he chooses the Secretary of Agriculture as Leif Pence.
Mike Pence.
Yeah,
Is
they've
that
got
it?
Mike Pence, Leif Pence. So that's basically the whole theory, with a little bit more to add to it. But that's how it started. Let's just start on that then.
So the books have an eerie coincidence to real life, with real life names, real life events,
Locations,
and locations that have occurred. So it is a very interesting, eerie way of looking at the book, and on the surface, again, when I looked at this, I was like, that does sound. It sounds peculiar. It sounds as though it's art imitating life, not life imitating art. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I do not have a genuine explanation other than this story is very similar to real life.
Yeah, I mean, some people are stretching it, so, you know, in the book, Baron Trump grows up in Castle Trump, is incredibly wealthy, and he heads off to Russia. And then they're like, oh, no, look, his mum's Slovenian, and that's kind of Russia-ish.
Is that Melania?
Yeah. And it's like, oh, so it kind of it's like you're stretching really thin now.
It's like saying, I'm English, something happened in Germany, but I'm European, so therefore it's the same stretch. Not quite, you can't just go, well, we're on the same continent, so therefore...
Yeah. So that's Russia, right? No, it's not, you xenophobic bigot.
It's not a nice thing to call me.
But yeah, it's just, I think it's interesting, like, same with Leif Pence as well, like, that's Mike Pence, oh, it's Leif, not Mike, and he's the Secretary of Agriculture, not the Vice President.
Yeah.
But it's just that he mentioned his Vice President's name.
But they are strikingly close.
Mm-hmm.
If you just take it on face value, there are some strikingly close coincidences.
Yeah.
And
so you've got Baron Trump,
and which is Donald Trump's son.
yeah. Don,
Don.
his mentor Don.
Yeah.
Mike Pence, Mike Pence. You've got
Fifth Avenue.
the election wealthy outsider.
Yeah.
Unexpected election win. Lives in a tower. Lives in a building, incredibly wealthy building on Fifth Avenue, and it's like they're all there. You can't deny them.
And that's just the story, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I mean,
there's something else. So I want to stick on the books or something.
Yeah.
So we'll go through the books. So Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey, copyrighted in 1892 and originally published in 1893. And I want to point out at this point, all these novels flopped.
yeah. So when they were written, you need to remember the time they were written. They were written along like Alice in Wonderland, and it was meant to be.
Well, the literary prose at the time was young child goes off on an adventure.
Yeah.
So Alice in Wonderland, Lion Witch and the Wardrobe, the Chronicles of Narnia. It was children going off on an adventure. That was the literal trend at the time.
Absolutely, but these books flopped because they're quite political for the time. Children didn't quite grasp the adultness of the adult content of how it was angled, and they were written in rather contrived ways as well.
Yeah, I mean, some of the
and they were very long.
some of
Pages long.
Yeah, some of the criticisms is he's a very poor writer, and it was a thing at that time where a wealthy man decides to write a book.
Yeah.
It was that kind of sits in his study. I'm going to be a writer because I'm rich, I'm wealthy, and I'm amazing. Therefore, I'm going to write a book. And he's like, no, you're a shit writer, mate. And also, like the last president was a blatant and cumbersome warning about the progression of socialism.
Yeah.
One of the criticisms I read about it, and he's sort of like.
I didn't think of that, but that's right. Yeah.
And it's like it's not a cleverly or well done one. It's just very awkward and club-handed, where you sort of like socialism bad.
I mean, yeah, I was reading that. They really did flop in the day, but it's because he tried to write a children's book, but it was written in the eye of an adult, and children just didn't get it.
Yeah.
So
he didn't get children, and children didn't get the book.
Yeah, and it just missed its target audience by a mile, and then it was just archived, forgotten about. Just no one saw it again until later.
Until one guy started the Congress Library and did all this to it. So the first book, Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey, was published in 1893, and the novel mixes science fiction and fantasy as it follows the adventure of Baron Trump, also known as Little Baron, and his wonderful dog Bulger as they travel through the hollow earth. Video here. Where they encounter the domains of various surreal.
I saw what you did there.
You like that? Smooth. Where they encounter the domain of various surreally described races, including the transparent folk and the rattlebrains. Yeah.
So ghosts and pissheads.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Right. And then the last president. Like I said, there's other books, but these only two I really focused on because they fit the theory. The last president. The story begins with a scene from a panicked New York City in early November, describing a state of uproar after the election of an enormously opposed outsider candidate. The entire east side is in a state of uproar. Police officers shouted through the streets, warning city folk to stay indoors for the night. Mobs of a vast size are organising under the lead of anarchists and socialists and threaten to plunder and despoil the houses of the rich who have wronged and oppressed them for so many years.
Well,
That sounds familiar.
but there's an obvious error here, isn't there? It's called the last president, and he clearly isn't the
No,
last
no.
president. So,
Well, yet to see.
well, no, because he's now president. Trump is now not president, and and he wasn't.
I suppose it did. If this book comes to light and it all does go wrong, then
Yes.
Biden's the last president.
Yeah, so the last president should have been Trump, but Biden's now been
Yeah.
brought into power. So,
Well, we're going to get into
yeah,
why he isn't the last president.
I'm
but-
just saying there's an obvious error in the title.
Yeah.
Before people shout at us.
And New York City's up in mobs of boss-sized arguments led by anarchists and socialists and plundering and despoiling the houses of the rich. That happened in Portland, not New York.
Well, we'll piss in the cornflakes of this story later. Yes.
That was Antifa in fucking Portland.
Don't make me spit my beer out. Jesus. Try to drink this without try not to laugh.
So, the Fifth Avenue Hotel will be the first to feel the fury of the mob. The novel continues, citing an address in New York City where Trump Tower now stands. Would the troops be in time to save it? So, most of his theories on the last book, on the last president, because he's very similar.
Yeah.
For me, the first one, Baron Trump's Adventures, it's Baron Trump and his mentor's called Dom, and is led by Russia. They're the three things that they generally get in that book.
Yeah, I mean, fuck's sake, I haven't printed it off my up-to-date notes. So, the one thing that I did have on here, I think this is the third video now where I'm going to use my friend, Google Trends.
Mm-hmm.
Did it with a couple more before. Definitely did it with Mandela.
I think it was the second time you've done it. You did it with Mandela.
I'm sure I've done it before that as well.
You haven't mentioned it if you have.
Have I not?
Yeah, that's the only one you have.
Okay. So, anyway, Google Trends.
Yeah.
Looked on Google Trends, and I haven't got it printed, so this is now in memory.
Right.
And I don't know how good my memory's going to be. It's been my birthday this week. I'm pretty pissed. 40th lockdown birthday, it's been a mess. But coming back to memory, Google Trends showed that there was no single search for any of these books until 2009. Not a single.
Yeah, it's when they were
Oh no,
found.
2016 I think in fact.
Yeah.
Not a single search. Some people were saying these books didn't exist until
Until then.
2016 because they'd not been searched for. But the reason they weren't being searched for is because they'd not been found. They were literally
100-year-old book, that 124-year-old book that's just sat in a library and no one knew it. There's plenty more in there.
I'm sure there is. But yeah, looking at Google Trends, it would never search for until 2016. Not a single one, not even a single search. And then 2016 it just went boom.
Yeah, I mean,
Massive spike.
they've now been republished on Amazon and
Yeah.
Amazon bestsellers.
It's
there's
madness.
a book that flopped and like 124 years later, it's an Amazon bestseller, and you can buy in so many different variations as well, because you can buy all the books separately, or you can buy the 4 books condensed into one book with a foreword and epilogue written by a new writer that sort of like sums up the theory and why it matches and why it works. It's like, this is someone making serious money off this guy.
Yeah, because this guy's dead and he's not.
He's not making a fucking penny, and I'm assuming his family won't either, because after 124 years, don't become public domain after 50.
That's only if they don't have a publisher, though, surely.
No, because I think it's like, because one, did it get overturned from music? Because like the Beatles and the Stones try getting overturned because their songs have become public domain. But it still exists for authors, because that's why a couple of years ago you had 3 different Robin Hood movies coming out all at once. And 2 different Jungle Book movies coming out because Robin Hood became public domain.
I'm looking at Tolkien and thinking, his is more than 50 years old.
No, it's 100 years old, I think, maybe.
Is it 100 maybe?
I think it might be 100. I think it got changed from 50 to 100 because of the Beatles and
Right.
Stones.
Right.
Because they were going, they're like, 50 is long enough, it becomes public domain, and the Beatles and Stones are going, we're still here, we're still selling.
We're still alive, dickheads.
We're still alive, and we're still selling records, whereas usually it's been, you have a career for 5-6 years and you don't sell one for, but you've got Elvis, you've got Beatles and Stones, kind of. So I think they changed it to 100 years.
Are you saying Elvis isn't dead?
No, I'm just saying he's still selling records. And his family are learning quite a bit off it. But yeah, I think it's like 100 years. That's why we had, a couple of years back, we had 3 different Robin Hood films launch in a month of each
And
other.
we had the piss take Robin Hood Men in Tights and...
No, that was before, but they'd had to pay the rights for that.
Right.
Whereas, all of the ones a couple of years ago, we had a Disney version of Robin Hood, we had Taron Egerton playing Robin Hood, we had a third Robin Hood.
Was it Crow? Thingy Crow as well?
It might have been, I'm not sure, but we had
Crow.
3 films. It's like, how can you have all these 3 films at once? You can't buy the license. It's like, no, there was no license.
Right, yeah.
Where Robin Hood Prince of Thieves or Robin Hood Men in Tights, they paid the license for that film. This one, like, there's no license place on every studio jumped on it because it's a cheap film to make and a story everyone knows.
Yeah. Good point.
So no one's making money off this, apart from the people who write about it now and selling it now. They're making money because there's no estate to pay. It's 124 years old, it's public domain.
I thought the Ingersoll estate would have still had something to do with it, but what about Shakespeare then?
I think Shakespeare's different. I think that's protected. I think Shakespeare is protected by the national.
So there are outs.
Yeah, so it's, I think, I might be wrong here, someone please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Shakespeare is a weird one. I think it's protected by the Heritage Trust. Or the Royal Shakespeare Company. It's got like a royal charter. You know, like you get listed buildings protected and you get Heritage Foundation sites and stuff like that. I think Shakespeare is protected by the Royal Heritage Trust.
Because there's that War of the Worlds and stuff as well, which would be that age, and I think that's still with.
But with Shakespeare, it's weird because it's protected, but also public domain. So in a way that you can't make a Shakespeare film without paying for the licensing, but you can put on a high school play and not have to pay for the licensing.
Yeah. Because you're not making any money off of it.
No, but it's like, yeah, you can make a high school play, you can make an amateur dramatic production. You can't do a Broadway production of Hamlet, because only the Royal Shakespeare Company had to do that because they own the license. But you can, you know, if you did Robin Hood in school, you'd have to pay the license fee. If you did Little Mermaid, you'd have to pay a licensing fee.
Would you?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Well, Robin Hood you won't now because it's gone. This is why you always get the same school plays. Like the nativity isn't.
That's just because I thought schools were boring.
No, it's just because schools can't afford license fees. So Shakespeare isn't included. I think schools are allowed to because it's seen as
education possibly.
The Royal Shakespeare Company is allowed to have the license, and there's a special dispensation that ever stops it becoming public domain. But they've got to allow schools to do it for free to keep education going. Otherwise, they'll lose it basically. But yeah, off topic that.
One of our rambles, as per usual. I asked you a question.
So like this is no one, you know, this guy you sat there. It'd be nice wouldn't it, if you were his great grandson going, ka-ching!
Exactly.
And instead he's going, fuck me, this should come up 25 years ago.
100 years.
I've been loaded.
Yeah, exactly. But I want to know, the person who found it, what were they looking for? Did they just search Trump in the archive and something?
No, I think it was someone actually physically in the archive, maybe. Or maybe they might be searching the archive, seeing if, you know, as Donald Trump put any letters, like Congress of letters, Congress letters or State Union speeches saved in.
Maybe.
So if he searched Trump to see what his State of Union or his inauguration address, so he's gone to the Congress Library, typed in Trump, and he's like, no, Trump's inauguration, Trump's speech, State of the Union. Trump, the man I went to about Trump. Fuck is that?
I mean, it literally would have to be.
I think it would just be that, because 2016 it'd just be elected.
But the 300 pages long. So not only have they gone to the National Archives and found it, they've read 300-page books.
Yeah, but I think it's that curiosity. If you go, right, well, you're doing, I don't know, completely hypothetical, I don't actually all we know is someone found it in the Congress Library. So I'm just like, you're doing some essay for school or whatever. Like, I need to reference Donald Trump's inauguration address. Right, Congress Library. Search Trump. Right, and it's like, because there won't be that many. He's only been in office 3-4 months, and then he's like, you know, his inauguration speech, his correspondence speech, and his State of Union, his inauguration speech, probably something about impeachment, and then marvellous adventures about Trump. Like, the fuck is that?
I'll be the same.
And then you're off down rabbit hole. You're aware then, because he goes Barron Trump, and he's got a mentor called Don, and he's got links to Russia. This is weird.
Yeah, that is.
And then you get to end of it, other books by this author, The Last President. What the fuck? Like, it's on Fifth Avenue. It's an outsider. This is mental. I'm going to tell the internet. So I can see it being just completely bad. Because if you search like,
Yeah, I suppose.
if you search the Congress Library for Obama, now, you're going to get a fuck ton of articles and speeches.
You're going to get a fuck ton.
If you do it with Trump now, you get a fuck ton of articles. And this one, the amount of it about Trump would be 12, 20 pages in, you'd never get to it. But in 2016, if there's only 2 or 3
that's true.
articles stored under Trump's name, the third one's going to be this book. It wouldn't be discovered. I think it could have only been discovered in 2016 because there wasn't that much content from Trump archived by that point.
Yeah, that's true. Can I ask you a question then? But I'm going to give you a leading question or two. This is how you go from one phase to another.
It'd been smooth if you hadn't just done that.
You can cut this if you want.
Smooth segue.
So, how do we get from this story to the idea that Trump is a time traveller?
Right, well, because once the rabbit hole's opened, once you put it on Reddit, it's fucking away. I mean, I love those crazy autistic bastards, but God, some of the stuff they do is it's something like the Wall Street bets that we've had recently with GameStop.
Amazing.
Hilarious, fantastic.
Blockbuster and stuff as well.
The greatest war cry I've ever heard, the greatest motto I've ever heard is we can remain retarded longer than they can remain solvent.
Fuck off then.
God bless you, Reddit. God bless you. So
I'll take a drink to you.
So you put forward, like we've done today, here's this book and it's Donald Trump and it's got a mentor called Dom and his links to Russia, and then another book by this author pretty much nails on and explains Donald Trump's election, right? So other people go looking.
I asked a leading question on purpose.
Yes. And
This is funny.
That's when we find John G. Trump, Donald Trump's uncle.
Yes, and...
Was that not the lead? Was that what you were trying to lead into?
No, it is.
Right.
But I thought we were going to go Tesla first, but...
Well, this is.
Okay.
So in 1943, Nikola Tesla died. Right?
Genius, man.
Absolute genius, man. And he had a lot of paperwork of inventions and stuff, and really weird here, I'm going to write it down, the Department of Alien Property or something.
Yeah, it was called.
And it's an actual place, it's a really weird name, it's an actual still today.
So it's called the Alien Property Custodian, and that is for people who are not citizens of America.
Mm-hmm.
And if they've got something of importance, the Alien Property Custodians can go in and go, well, you're not citizens, therefore we can take that because it's ours.
Yeah.
Even though Nikola Tesla had lived in America for 50 years, and he was a
never
citizen.
He was a citizen, they just denied it to take his...
And
stuff
they used the Alien Property Custodian to go, he's a bit brainy. He's probably got loads of good stuff. Yeah, you're an illegal alien and we're going to nick your shit, pretty much.
So basically, he died, he's got... No, the idea of free wireless electricity died with him.
Yes.
So much stuff like this. There's an episode I want to do eventually is a Black Knight, which is Nikola Tesla discovered that.
1950 something, I think it was, yeah.
No, he died in 43. But he got a signal from space, didn't he? And there's some thinking he reckons he got a signal from space.
He was 50. So,
yeah. And some people think it's the Black Knight, but different episode anyway. But so when he died, he had all these inventions in America, and they've been pretty much bankrupted by Edison, haven't they? At this point, and screwed over by people, but
yeah, I mean, he'd taken a loan out from, who was it who was on the, he took $1 million loan or something like that, from someone who owns all the coal fields, because he said, oh, well, by the way, I've got this great idea for energy, and they thought they were going to make loads out of it, but really it was like, I'm going to fucking shaft you all.
Yeah.
Made his Tesla towers. I can't remember who it is who owns all the oil fields. It's like a Rockefeller or a Rothschild or something like that. One of those big families, anyway.
It's Rockefeller.
Is it?
Something J. Rockefeller.
Yeah, it must be a Rockefeller, yeah.
Yeah, because I just watched the film recently.
Right, okay.
It's a really good film. But, yeah, so anyway, he's got all these, the American government, we're like, he's got all these inventions, like, we can take them. We can have them because change the world, But the problem being with Nikola Tesla is just because you've got all his inventions, all his work, doesn't mean you can understand it.
Or recreate it under any circumstance. Yeah.
Right? So they brought in John G. Trump to look through the paperwork and see if there's anything in here that's viable or we can remake, or is it all just the ramblings of a madman?
But let's be right. Don't tar John G. Trump with the Donald Trump brush. John G. Trump was extraordinarily educated. He was from MIT. He was.
Yeah.
He won loads of world plaudits and acclaims. He was the real deal.
Yeah, he was. And this is why they've got Nikola Tesla stuff.
Yeah.
There's only one man in the USA,
Well, FBI,
in the world, to come look at this.
well, the FBI tried to work this stuff out for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, we don't know how to do it. We've got no idea what this stuff means. Let's go get an expert. And it was John G. Trump. And this guy, as I say, he was a humanist. He was a real deal. He was a good guy. And they said, you try work this shit out for us. We've got no idea. So just because he's a Trump doesn't mean
it's bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
or yeah.
he was the bee's knees. He was the real deal.
But anyway, he examined all these papers and said, "There's not there. There's nothing there. Don't worry about it. Not there. Can't be work. Ramblings of a madman. Leave him alone." Some people reckon, and this comes without any evidence, that in those papers, because Nikola Tesla had said at some point, apparently, can't find any evidence of it again, that he built a time machine. And there's thinking that in these papers that John G. Trump looked over was the specs for building a time machine. And he's kind of put that in his back pocket and gone, no, there's not there.
Yeah.
And then taken it home and built a time machine for the Trump family.
Yeah.
Hence we get Baron Trump in the books in 1893 is not actually a character that Ingold Lockwood made up. It is actually Baron Trump who's travelled back in time, and that was recorded, and he's come forward in time. And
let's be certain here. So Nikola Tesla, he was doing one of his experiments and he got zapped. He didn't really know how much electricity had been zapped with, but he got electrocuted by one of his own. It went wrong, and he said when he was electrocuted by thousands and thousands of volts, that he saw the past, the present, and the future
all at the same time.
all at the same time. He was enveloped in like this big electromagnetic ball, and he could see everything. He could see the past, present. He could see all the time while he was in this electromagnetic ball. And then one of his students or his friends or whatever was turned the electric off, and then he's like, well, electromagnetism is the way to bend space and time.
Yeah.
So he was working on this idea of I can
Trying to
create a time
recreate his
machine.
experience.
But he wanted to be able to control his experience, not just being a participant
Yeah.
who just sits there being fried to death, going, oh shit. So I mean, quite frankly, he's being electrocuted. He could have had DMT flying around his body because his body thought he was going to die. It could have been all sorts of stuff.
It does sound like an end of life experience,
A
doesn't it?
DMT trip could have been like, whoa, right, don't feel any pain, we're going to go do
Yeah.
some crazy stuff. So it could have been anything, let's be honest. But he genuinely believed that experience was real.
That's what people with DMT do.
Yeah. And he genuinely then said, well, I believe I can create time travel. And he tried to recreate it, and that's why these
people think this why they think that the specs were in there for building this time travel machine.
Yeah.
And John G. Trump's gone, nope, taking that, no, there's no here. Which speaks against
his nature.
his nature and his character, because everything up to that point, like I say, it was a well-respected and world-renowned physicist and MIT professor. I'm saying that, I know a lot of stories about MIT professors who nicked students' work and patented it. You see that happen a lot. So
Let's not name some names on here and get libel.
no. I say I've read a lot of stories of professors who people put the final dissertations in and they patented it. But anyway, so yeah, the theorists reckon that John G. Trump took the papers for the time machine intended for the Trump family. So now the theory goes, this isn't a book predicting the future.
It's a book creating the past book.
Yes. So there's two sides to this. One is that they've gone from the future back in the past and someone's wrote about it.
Mm-hmm.
The other idea, which goes completely out of there, is that the last president is the last president. It's another thing that kind of links with Trump is the president in that book wants to drain all corruption and stuff from the...
Drain the swamp, baby.
Drain the swamp, basically. He's getting rid of corruption and stuff. So Congress dissolved the office of president. They just get rid of the office of president because he's getting rid of all the corruption.
Yeah.
So the Senate comes together and dissolve the office of president. That's why he's the last president.
Right.
Right. So the theory is that he's a time traveller that's come back to stop that happening, or he's come back to make it happen.
Yeah.
So Donald Trump is a time traveller who's fighting for the heart and soul of America, and because the presidency's been kept in there, he's achieved it. Or
well, we'll come to other. Well,
Yeah.
when we have our closing statements, I'm sure I have lots of opinion around this. The other thing I heard though was he used his time travelling abilities in 2016 because he thought Hillary Clinton was going to win and she was going to take her to World War III.
Yeah.
He saw World War III was going to happen. He went to the future, saw it, and thought,
came back and stopped
I
it.
need to stop it. Yeah, and then came went all the way back to change the timeline so he could stop her from. So he changed the timeline so his family had influence, and therefore then he
could get in. He
could
had
get
the
in.
power of will to get in
Yeah.
independently without corruption backers and stuff.
to stop Clinton, and he never wanted a second term, which we know is not true
Yeah, but no, it's not true.
now. But at the time, he was like, well, if he doesn't want a second term, as long as he can stop.
Yeah, it's like job done.
And to be fair, the reason why that narrative sounds true is because she would have had a World War III.
Yeah, she would have done.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt about that. But also, you get what was the other thing I read that his that's why he created. People laughed at him for creating Space Force.
Yeah.
But he's been to the future and he knows what's happening, so he's set Space Force up now to be prepared and ready when the future happens because he's seen it. And it's a lot of
It's very
wishful
contrived.
thinking and contrived and fanciful, isn't it?
There's a lot of leaps happening, I must admit.
It is, no, this is just the whole time travel comes in. It gets really complicated, and there's this thing, and he's stopped Hillary Clinton, and he's built Space Force to stop the aliens, and all this and that. All this, when you take it all, research it all back to its source, the only source for this is his uncle looked at Tesla's papers in '43. That's it.
But remember,
That's the only place time travel comes from. His uncle looked at it. He must, and there's no evidence he kept though. He must have taken something, and that's why this happened.
did you see the thing?
You're forcing a narrative to fit the facts.
Oh no, it's always the case. It's always the case. You know, if you go and look for a conspiracy, you can find it. You can find a conspiracy in anything you look for if you really, really want to look for it. We've got this. The past is. These books are crazy. They parallel a lot of the things that have happened in his name. And so you can go, well, they are parallel everything. His uncle did all this other work with Tesla. If you stick those two together, you can create a wonderful story.
And that's what this is, creating a wonderful story, because there's...
Well, people will disagree with you because in 2016, Tesla was famous for the Tesla Tower, all electric.
Yeah.
In 2016, when Trump was about to run for president, the Trump Tower got struck by lightning, and there was like a massive bolt of lightning hit the Trump Tower, and it's like that's when he used his time machine. So,
it's one of the biggest towers in New York, and it has a lightning. I'm assuming for building safety reasons, it has a lightning spire on top of it.
Yeah.
That'll attract lightning and dissipate it.
so he wasn't nominated at the time. He was like, right then, I've started to run. I'm miles behind. I'm now going to go use the time machine. And then after that day, he just started fucking like a wind just got behind him.
It was like, Donald Trump's running for president. And
Oh,
then after
it's
that,
Donald Trump.
lightning strike. Oh fuck, Donald Trump popularity surge. He might be the next. He's winning the primaries.
Yeah. And people were saying as well, like, Donald Trump doesn't believe the things he believes in. He had to say them because he knew that's what would get him in power.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really believe in building a wall, which is why there isn't a wall.
Yeah, there is a absolutely but it rallied the base and got him those apathetic votes that don't vote and
Because supposedly, and I don't know if this is a true fact, but he is since the 20th century, the first president to not go to war.
Yeah.
He's not started a war in his 4 years.
I think actually the only military thing I can think of from it was, didn't he fire some missiles from sea?
In Syria. Yeah.
Once.
Yeah.
He brought peace to the Middle East.
He said he blew up loads of ISIS strongholds, but I think I'm pretty sure he's the first president to not oversee a war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's quite an achievement for America.
That's an achievement fucking full stop.
You know?
Yeah.
It's something like, I remember
You fuckers need some freedom.
I remember reading something. I'm going to get this wrong, but it's stuck in his head. But it's something like, I remember reading a fact like America has been at war for 197 years of its 230-year history or something. You know, it's just the angry total of the world, isn't it?
It is insane that the amount of, because the military complex makes money.
Yeah, yeah, that is insane. It's the only person probably, yeah. Because it didn't start a war, it actually stopped a lot of them, really, didn't it? And
Well, it could have been a war with this, what's it called, King John and his.
yeah, North Korea. Well,
North
yeah,
Korea,
North Korea, like, and that would have weird one, that, because it was like, it looked like he were going for war, you know, and it's like, you've got diplomacy and all the behind the scenes stuff we don't see of diplomats talking and arranging deals and stuff. And then here's the president on Twitter just going, "Go on, little rocket man, I've got a bigger red button than you." You know, and it's like, what are you doing, you dickhead? This is a rogue nation with nuclear weapons who won't give a shit about that. Oh no, look, you're from the border shaking his hand and walking in without a fucking Secret Service card. How the fuck did you do this, you glorious bastard?
It's time to.
I mean, that scene, I don't think it gets. I'm not a big Trump supporter or all like that. I don't think all that, but
It deserves some credit.
But
sometimes
that footage of him walking to the North Korean border, shaking Kim Jong-un's hand, and then stepping over the border and walking to North Korea without a big fucking army or secret service. He has no guards with him.
I don't believe for a second they weren't fucking drones.
Oh yeah, the Predator drones on top. But you know, by the time you could just go fucking bang and he's dead.
Oh, they
You know what I mean? They don't give a shit. Well, Predator drones strike them. Think Kim Jong-un cares about losing 100 soldiers? You know what I mean? But it's so monumental. It doesn't get the praise it deserves, the credit and the recognition it deserves. Because I think he's the only president ever, the only American president ever to enter North Korea.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. Like, since it became a rogue nation and isolationist.
Wow, I don't know.
Anyway, thing is this is probably going to be my shortest episode ever because I'm near the end of my notes. That's pretty much all the evidence for the theory, really. Have you got all else?
Well,
I've got some counterpoints, but in terms of the theory, I think we've covered it. There's not else to go into, do you think?
well, let me just re-clarify. So, Nikola Tesla died. He had loads of papers. Then John Trump, genius at the time,
Yeah.
went in and
And said
took all the
there's no
papers.
here.
The thing that might blow your mind, is you may not have thought of, is ready for this. Camera, look at his face. I'm going to ask you a question.
Right.
There's a theory that because Donald Trump caused the time travel, he's responsible for the Mandela effect.
Yes, I've seen this. I have seen this.
Oh, that's a fucking shitter. I thought he'd never heard of it. He's going to go, oh,
Yes.
brain pop.
Because there was where. Yes, I kept the link. Right. I did keep the link. I think you sent me this link actually because you went knobhead and you said, "Let's go down the rabbit hole."
Oh yeah, yes.
Right. So this is going to get thick, right? So in 1943, as a technical aide in Division 14 of the NDRC, which I'm sure is the National Defence and Research Centre. Yeah. John Trump reviewed and analysed the papers of Dr. Nikola Tesla. When Tesla died in a New York hotel, the research was completed on behalf of the Alien Topic Custodian Office in Washington DC, which
Right.
we've covered.
You can look at my face. I sit badges down the rabbit hole, and now he's going to go balls in.
So
I know this link, and this is fun.
in 42, John Trump, became Secretary of the Microwave Committee and a subcommittee of the NDRC. The director of the Microwave Committee was Alfred Lee Loomis, a millionaire physicist who decided to create a laboratory. He invented the Aberdeen chronograph for measuring muzzle velocities, contributed significantly, perhaps critically according to Louis Alves, to the development of a ground-controlled approach technology for aircraft, and participated in preliminary meetings of the Manhattan Project.
So, digest that for a second.
So, Trump's uncle was involved in the microwave...
Well, no, Loomis was.
No, Trump's uncle became Secretary of the Microwave Committee which Loomis was the director of.
Yes.
And Loomis invented the Aberdeen chronograph and was part of the preliminary meetings of the Manhattan Project.
And the Manhattan Project is linked to... We've got the Montauk Project that comes off of it, the Manhattan Project. We've got... That's two different beasts of a conspiracy. But
Yeah, so... March 1994, a meeting at the University of California, Berkeley, concerning the planned 184-inch cyclotron. You can see him on there.
what did that turn into?
That turned into the Heidelberg cyclotron,
Yeah.
which then in turn became CERN,
Yes.
which is widely believed to have caused the Mandela effect.
And the link of this is, well, time travel happened with John Trump.
Yeah,
Therefore, CERN has its own agenda.
yeah.
So we're now going. So to stop there, just to talk a bit, is another. The reason that I asked you to do that,
Because of the missing minutes that came out last week with Space Commander Randy.
if anyone watches the video,
It's up there.
fuck me. He cut it, so I look like a dick.
I did.
We were talking, then the next thing is me going, he's a fucking dick. Literally, without any context whatsoever.
I couldn't cut it any other way because you're just so fucking angry.
Oh.
Even more so when you're through and you go finish it. You're like, finish, fucking finish. Okay then. Right, so we're going to like, how are you so fucking calm?
I'm sure people are laughing at that because it's just gone up tonight. So, but this, on the other hand, I wanted to stop you there specifically because this is another part of the conspiracy.
Yeah.
And the other part of the conspiracy is that John Trump, he knew about time travel, but he couldn't do it.
Well, this is the thing that he got the documents for time travel from Tesla after he died in 43, and then used it to go back to 40 to get on the microwave subcommittee to get. So he's changed time already at this point.
The other one I heard was that we didn't have the technology to do time travel. Time travel was a theoretical thing. So we had Tesla, who was enveloped in this electromagnetic wave, where he could see the past, present, and future, but he couldn't interact with it.
Yeah.
But the idea was that he was going to then create technology to allow him to interact. But he knew what to do, but didn't have the technological advancements to do
So he
it.
had to build a scientific community to do it, which is.
And so John Trump took the papers and went, right then, I get what you're trying to do, but we can't do it now because we don't have the technological ability to do it. And therefore, he influenced Loomis and influenced all the early
Loomis
of the cyclotron and so on and so forth into CERN.
They build the Heidelberg cyclotron, then Loomis goes on, that influences Prince Bernhard, a former Nazi and co-founder of the Bilderberg group, to fund CERN.
I didn't know it was anything to do with Bilderberg. That's just that made my brain go into 38 different tangents.
In the aftermath of World War II, Prince Bernhard financed a private investigative force of over 200 former British and German intelligence operatives to scour Germany for all documents and scientific literature related to the Heidelberg cyclotron, agreed to form and finance the European Organisation for Nuclear Research, CERN. Prince Bernhard, a former Nazi, was a co-founder of the Bilderberg group prior to World War II. He was a member of the Nazi Party of Germany and Riga SS officer whose main duty was securing Western nation funding for Waffenmann, German Army Weapons Agency, scientific project, most particularly the Heidelberg cyclotron.
Oh, fuck me, silly. That's
So he was a German SS officer who co-founded the Bilderberg group and was in charge of basically getting scientists to create weapons for the Third Reich.
Do you know how this makes me feel? Very insignificant. Because this dickhead I'm going to go to the Bilderberg group. I'm going to be part of the birth of CERN.
It goes on to say, in 1954, he was co-founder of the International Bilderberg Group, which has met annually since then to discuss corporate globalisation and other issues concerning Europe and North America. The convention establishing CERN was ratified on 29 September 1954 by 12 countries in Western Europe.
It's funny, I sent you this link, but I don't remember any of this shit.
Right. But going back to John Trump and Loomis for a bit,
Yeah.
so Trump was on the subcommittee for microwave subcommittee, and Loomis was the director of it. Loomis was responsible for inventing K-complex. So K-complex have two proposed functions. First, suppressing cortical arousal in response to stimuli that the sleeping brain evaluates not to signal danger. And second, aiding sleep-based memory consolidation. So we're getting into Project Montauk here.
Montauk indeed, yeah.
He also pioneered techniques for EEGs. So while working with Edmund Newton Harvey, he co-invented the microscope centrifuge and pioneered techniques for electronsphalography.
Can I just say, right, so for people who don't know, I see things in pictures in my brain.
Yeah.
Like, things I've got 1,000 things happening right now because we've got this conversation. I can see at least 5 different conspiracy videos we can film just of that single vein of narrative.
Yeah. But I love the fact that we've gone from, is Donald Trump a time traveller? And you go, that's bollocks. To, we have links to Tesla, we have links to the creation of CERN, the creation of Bilderberg. Montauk. Did he create the Mandela effect? Like, what started as, is Donald Trump a time traveller? Sounds fucking stupid at the beginning of the video. But now we've got links to Tesla, we've got links to CERN, to Bilderberg, to German SS weaponry. This is all, it lines up nicely, and again, it is that going 2 + 2 = 5, 5 + 5 equals 12, 12 + 12 equals 30.
You went to the same school as me.
You know, it's that we're making jumps and we're filling in the blanks because we don't have everything. But when you go, is Donald Trump a time traveller? No, fuck off, you dickhead. You're now sat halfway through this video going, where the fuck did all this come from?
That's what I was like.
And it's all because someone found a book.
No, it's all because he told me to look at it. That's what it's all.
No, but someone found a book in the Library of Congress.
Yeah.
And just went, it's a bit airy. People started looking into it and going, oh, well, the last president, but the Secretary of Trump's like, oh, his uncle did this, and his uncle related to this, and this is like, if time travel existed, we wouldn't know about it. It would be kept secret. Right?
All day long.
This is how it, these connections are what you need to keep it, to create it and keep it secret.
Can I do something that you do?
Mm-hmm.
Try this. So, we're talking about this and saying time travel. The Mandela effect is just about here. Back there somewhere. Or maybe down here. Maybe here. I'm not sure.
Fucking amateur. It's there.
See it.
It's above my head. It goes on that bit there.
I want the power too. You can't have all the power.
I can have the power. Of course can. Look, is Paul McCartney dead? Ping.
It's Badger Yeti. Oh, we're not filming that yet.
Not filmed that. But no, it does that. So it now comes back to the Mandela effect. I saw something else apart from this, but I saved this because you sent me a rabbit hole. Like, we don't share research. And you sent me a link and it's like,
read this.
I read it and went, that is batshit. It's not batshit, there's links in there, but the way it's written, I picked the bits out that I thought were relevant. There's more bits in it where it goes fucking batshit crazy, but, because it's Reddit, of course it does. But I saved it right at the top of my notes because I went, this cunt's going to pull this on me.
I was.
I'm going to say, it's not in my notes, but I'm going to save that there just in case.
But I thought it was important because, do you know how this conspiracy works? It's a bit how like my mind works. Like when someone says something and your brain goes 7 tangents quickly.
Yeah.
This is exactly how this works. So, is Donald Trump a time traveller? It's like, okay, how does that happen? But then, because it's John Trump is involved in so much, you go, well, this is true. This is all the stuff he just said there is involved in all that. That's fact.
And if time travel was going to exist, this is how you do it. The Microwave Committee, the Manhattan Project, the CERN, the backing of Bilderberg. So you've got the Microwave, Manhattan Project, atomic power. You've got CERN, which is smashing atoms and secrets of the universe and energy and stuff like that. You're going to need a lot of money to keep that going. You've got pretty much infinity funding from Bilderberg.
Yeah.
This is how you create a time machine. If you have Tesla's documents and went, this is how you make it, but we don't have the technology, I need to create the technology. Looks like he's building it.
It's a pretty healthy vein.
It is, isn't it? It doesn't sound so crazy now.
No, it fucking sounds batshit crazy. I don't. You've not had enough to drink yet. This is batshit crazy, but
you can see how you can fall into it, because these facts line up. And then, did he achieve his goal and create a time machine, and Donald Trump's got access to it?
I mean, I would. Right. Okay. Let's try and bring this back down to earth a little bit. A little bit. I like living in the clouds with you.
Yeah.
I love living up there with you. But a little bit. So, if I was Donald Trump and I had access to a time machine, personally, I would not have on my name that I was the only person to have a casino go out and fucking bust. Run out of money.
Well, that's
casino.
That's the theory. That's part of the theory I've seen as well. That it's all planned, because when he tweets like a fucking idiot and he does press conferences like a fucking dribbling moron.
Oh,
right.
Is it worse than the Quiet Ones?
Ringo Starr.
I'm going to do it again.
But no, it's just that the theory is that he does this on purpose. He's actually really intelligent, but the public, he had to get in that position of power. He had to get, like you were saying earlier, he had to get president to be able to stop this massive event from happening, and like Clinton being World War III. So he had to become president.
But I do honestly believe if she got into power,
yeah, that would have happened.
We would be
100% agree, right?
Stuff,
I mean, she even said something to the debates, didn't she? She more or less said she'd fuck off the North Lysol and
I've got a bigger red button than you.
Yeah. But I think
terrifying thought.
I think Trump, the theory is that Trump being such an idiot is because he needed to get into power to stop her.
Yeah.
He knew that from time to time. He knew he had to do that.
Which is why we're saying that he said different things to get people
build the wall, because the people MAGA crowd, that's been called, that he inspired and got out to vote.
Yeah.
People who generally don't vote are disinterested with politics. He didn't go. If you're an intelligent political elite, if you're an intelligent scientist, the everyday working man ain't going to vote for you. But if you're down on their level, you're still a wealthy rich man, but he's at his casino go bust, he's at this go bust, and he's not doing this for money, he's doing this for America. Then you get your redneck gun-toting.
But it could only do it as an independent, really.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So the idea is that when you're saying like if you're on a time machine, your casino won't go bust. One of the theories is that this idiot moron that just speaks, and we looked at like bleach kills coronavirus, and we looked at injecting that somehow. It's all a fucking act, because he needed to keep that base is what got him in power, and that's what stopped him from stopping war. If he was intelligent, he wouldn't have got any World War III to happen.
Do you want to know what I read? It was only one comment. Is the coronavirus is because Donald Trump changed the timeline.
Alright, so he's done some expand on that.
So the idea is that Donald Trump, so our normal future without his intervention would have been World War III, right? So
millions would have died.
So millions would have died anyway.
Yeah.
Because of the war. The universe still demands.
It's re-correcting itself. There's
that
people
millions
like
die.
Yeah.
And so therefore he's got involved and said, well, actually it's not going to be a nuclear holocaust, but millions still need to die because the timeline still needs to have millions dead. And so the COVID came in instead. That's one of the other things.
The universe re-corrects itself. But it's Thanos to it, like I am inevitable.
Yeah. So, but the idea is that the universe has an inevitability at the end of it. It's got a defined end and a defined start. It doesn't matter. It can have changes all the way to get there, but it has to re-correct its course now and again, depending.
This is going into dogmatic law, as in like the divine plan.
And I don't believe in the divine plan.
No, but it's the divine plan. This is the start, this is the end, and this is how we get. Now you can have variations on it, and little bits can change, but there's certain points in time where things have to happen. So if millions of people die in World War III, that means that the rest of the world goes on like this. You prevent that from happening. That's a major event prevented. Millions of people still need to die to enable 2044 to go ahead.
And millions of people don't need to necessarily die due to COVID. They could die because they committed suicide, didn't get cancer treatments, and all these other things. So millions of people have died because of a consequence of this, and therefore you might not go into World War III, but the consequence is these people still need to die. But it's just a different subset of people need to die.
Still got the same number of deaths worldwide.
In a different way. Yeah.
In a less brutal way, would you say?
Maybe so. So either way, Donald Trump's either a saviour or you're a mass murdering bastard. It's all your fault, Donald!
This is we're going down the rabbit hole completely now, but this is the butterfly effect, where you go back in time, you step in a butterfly and you put yourself out of existence, like chickens never existed or something.
Oh, the grandfather effect.
Yeah,
go back and kill the grandfather, can you exist?
So he's gone back, changed time so World War III happened. Like, whereas John Trump might have done it and he's used it to create wealth and influence, but not changed a universal event or a worldwide event. You know, where Donald Trump's gone back, stopped a worldwide event from happening, and therefore has gone. The universal creation. It's like, oh, it's that thing where you go like, oh, well, why don't we prevent time travel? First we should go is go back and kill Hitler. Right? But then by doing so, you get someone worse in.
Potentially worse, yeah.
You don't know what you're getting. We know with Hitler what we've got. The great book I read, I can't remember the name of the book now, but the event, this scientist invents time travel, and he goes back and puts a chemical in the water in this small town that turns all the men sterile. So Hitler's never born.
Okay.
Right? And he prevents World War II happening and the Holocaust and thinks it's brilliant. Goes back to the future, and governments all over the world are putting this water into. There's no war anymore. They're just stopping people from breeding. You have a war with Iran, and you just put the water into you put this chemical in Iran's water and stop the population from growing. He goes back to the future, quite happy himself and stop Hitler about it, and finds out that he's accidentally wiped out war. There is no war anymore because you have an agreement with a country. Just pop this chemical in the water and stop them from breeding. And that's what if one country has gone. Like there were no. Basically, it starts out. It's a global state, a global dictatorship because this one village in Austria, has not had kids for 50 years. So scientists go and explore what is it, what's stopping it, why is this one village, and they find this chemical in the water, manage to separate it, recreate it, and then just go like create a political elite around this chemical, like a Bilderberg type group thing, and just you do what we say, you fix that. No, we put chemicals in your water, you're not breeding anymore. Now we are breeding men, we have fertile men who can keep your population going. And you're going to do as we say. And then that ends up being, instead of being countries, it ends up being a global dictatorship. There's one man at the top who's completely corrupt and the world's in, and he's like, shit, I got rid of Hitler and I thought I'd done a good thing, but I've actually made it worse. Yeah, he's like, I don't know, I'm sound awful again, but they're like, only 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust, but billions of people died in this guy coming to power. Not just died and under this guy's rules, so you can't breed and he can breed it. Countries have to fall to him and he'll just kill people and he's a horrible like dictator and torture and stuff like that, and there's no one to stop him. And that's the thing, like this guy went back to kill Hitler, he made it worse. So the reason I bring that up, and I can't bring it up, but Trump has gone back in time, stopped World War III happening because it was horrific and awful, but COVID's happened instead. Yeah. So the same number of people still died.
Yeah. So that was just, I mean, there's so many different theories that I saw, but I mean, we're talking COVID because we're living it now, living through it as we speak.
Barely.
And one thing you
we're not living it, we're surviving it.
Yeah,
there's no living going on.
One thing you said there about sterilisation is the COVID. One of the side effects is sterilisation.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of reports on that.
So there's a potential sterilisation happening, whether it's planned or not. Let's not talk about eugenics on this video.
Yeah, we're not talking about whether it came from bats or it came out of a lab. We're not.
Or whether eugenics is real or not, because that's a different story.
Yeah.
But normal human beings who want to start families, who take this jab, who are trying to save themselves and people around them, potentially.
Exactly the jab because you've been told you Rupert Murdoch telling you doing a good thing.
But you could be forfeiting the opportunity to have children.
Well, this again. Let's start a conspiracy theory right here then. That jab causes infertility in
some
3% of the population, right? Say 3% of the population gets sterile from it, right? Over the course of generations, that's a massive number of people.
Well, you can't have a generation with that, can you?
No,
Yeah.
no, you can. Still get 97% of people still breeding.
No, but I couldn't. As a
No, but I'm saying on a worldwide scale,
Yeah.
3% is massive. It'll drop the population
It's
of the world.
massive over generations, yeah.
Yeah, right? You still got people breeding because 97 people can. Only affects 3% with a certain, I don't know, say certain protein or a gene. That's what triggers it, right? Now, you get that's caused by the COVID vaccine, which is being heavily invested in by Bill Gates, who's a massive proponent for depopulation of the Earth.
A massive eugenics, yeah.
So now we have a conspiracy theory there. You know, we've got the vaccine so Bill Gates can track you. He doesn't give a shit about tracking you. You've got an iPhone in your pocket. He can track you.
He knows where I am.
He knows where you are with your fucking mobile phone. He doesn't need an injection to track you. But a massive proponent of depopulation. So why this makes sense? He wants the world to be depopulated by 2%. Let's make 3% of the world sterile. There's your conspiracy around the COVID vaccine.
Woo! Right.
See how I just built that on the spot?
We can all do it. Same
Like
as
same as this is. That's the point I'm trying to make.
No.
Not saying I believe that.
100% does.
But let's get back to the thing. 'Cause
Well,
I think, is there what else you want to cover for
Yeah,
this?
so the other theories, have you heard of John Titor?
Is this the guy who turned up at customs with a passport from a country that doesn't exist?
I don't know about that. I know that he started in 2000 and 2001 started posting that he was someone from the future, a soldier from the future, and the world had become like this nuclear dystopic space. There'd been a massive nuclear war, and he came back and started posting in 2000 2001 about all the events that had happened in the future on a certain timeline, and that he'd seen some horrible events. He named radical Islam, or all that sort of thing, and basically what people are saying is actually John Titor is Donald Trump, and Donald Trump was the one posting saying, well, this is going to happen, and they're saying that when John Titor disappeared, whoever found him is Donald Trump was actually John. It was just like a pseudonym, and he was posting saying, we've got this nuclear future, and this is going to happen, and therefore he stepped in to stop Hillary Clinton causing that future.
Right, so it's another time traveling that he's coming to stop that. It all goes back to Hillary Clinton causing World War III.
Fuck's sake, Clintons! Not only did deal drugs and Clinton people.
So I got John Titor mixed up with the man from Torrid. Sorry.
Yeah, I was a bit confused, but
that's another video I want to do at some point in the future. So I won't go into that.
no, that's fine.
But yeah, I've heard of John Titor called the Time Traveller, but I got John Titor and the man from Torrid.
Well,
Right,
he definitely
put
posted.
together,
He
yeah.
definitely posted that he came from the future, and
He came to stop.
we
nuclear
go to
holocaust.
nuclear war. We need to stop it. We need to stop. People were saying, well, actually, that was Donald Trump warning that we need to stop nuclear war, and his way to stop nuclear war was getting elected to stop Hillary Clinton getting power.
Which, you know, when you look at it, it sounds mental and stuff, but when you look at it, you know, going back to what we said about North Korea, where he's going, come on, little rocket man, I've got a bigger red button than you and all this lot. He garnered some kind of talks with North Korea that never happened before. Could it be that he knew North Korea was the start of that Holocaust, and he talked them down?
Well, he reckoned. Well, the thing reckons is actually they couldn't stop Bill Clinton getting into power. The time won't allow it. But what he could do was discredit the Clintons so much that Hillary had no choice. She had no
couldn't
chance.
run. Yeah.
Because they discredit them with the Clinton murders. 60 of them, I think.
That kill list is mental.
That kill list is enormous.
That's an episode I'd love to do if I didn't think we'd be in trouble with libel or something.
No, we can give it as our opinion.
Yeah.
It's not fact. It's just an opinion piece. You know.
Yeah.
But he went back and damaged their
Reputation so she couldn't get.
and then he continued that in his debates to damage their reputation. Saying, I caused the reputation damage, and then I continued it by saying, well, Bill, Monica Lewinsky, you do for drugs, you've got a kill list, and he said it in his own debates, and he
No.
kept bringing it forward.
I remember one of the things that killed, pun intended, killed Hillary's campaign run was the $800,000 speech she was getting from banking corporations.
Yeah.
And when it leaked from one of them that she said, on policies you have a public opinion and a private opinion.
Yes.
So like, I'll say this to get elected, but in a private setting I'll say this to you guys because that's what I'm going to do. But even though I'm saying I'm against the banking, don't worry, I'm not against banking. That's just a public opinion where I have to say that to get elected. And that leaked and that more or less finished it.
Her server finished her with all her secret emails.
Well, it didn't, but how the fuck you get away with like, we want to look at your server? So I've just done it in an acid bath. How do you not get fucking charged for that?
Can you imagine, put this at home, the cops come to you and go, I want to take your hard drive because I think you're a kiddie fiddler. And you go, oh, you mean, I've got nothing to hide, but I've just burned it in the garden, I'm sorry. I've got nothing to hide though.
I mean, you wouldn't get done for kiddie fiddling, but you would get done for obstructing the course of justice, interfering in an investigation, destroying evidence. There's a lot of criminal charges there to be brought against you.
100%.
And she just like, I destroyed it in an acid bath. Alright, no worries then, see you later. What the fuck?
The thing I was really disappointed in Trump was, he could have, if he wanted to, taken her through the ringer.
Yeah, I mean, he could have absolutely fucking destroyed her. And I don't know. It's one of them where you think, you beat her, she's done. Don't kick an opponent when he's down, you know what I mean? You get in a fight, you knock someone on the floor, you don't kick him in the wrong floor, you know what I mean? So, you don't kick a man when he's down. So, I kind of respect that, but at the same point, it's like, is she done? I think she's done enough where she can't get back up and run again.
She won't be able to.
I mean, she run again, I'm the best person for America, you got beat by Donald Trump, like probably the worst candidate ever.
If she was to...
Well, the second worst candidate ever to run for British presidency, because you're the worst candidate, because you lost to him, you know?
I mean, she might run again after Biden, but she needed to have a break.
Yeah, but it's that thing of like, you know, she's, even if you don't run again, she's still influential behind the scenes, she's still got pull and weight. So, even though I respect someone going, I'm not going to kick a man when he's down, I'd be like, she's got claws in everything, destroy her now. And I'm a bit disappointed that he didn't do that.
So, I'll be honest, Badger, this was hilarious to start with.
It is.
We're going down loads of rabbit holes, but there's no point continuing a video just for the sake of continuing, is there?
We've got a couple more things here. Where
Please.
Going back to the books at the beginning, when it all started. It's like Baron Trump and he's got a mentor called Don and he's gets his mission from Russia and they put all these links in and stuff. The people who push this theory overemphasise the irrelevant details. So
let's debunk stuff.
They go, oh, his name's Baron Trump, like Donald, and Trump's linked with Russia, which proven it wasn't. But yeah, Trump's linked with Russia, and he's got
Biden on the other hand.
Yeah, Mr. Two Stacks. You've got, you know, he's got a mentor called Don. All these things come in. They never mention the rest of the stuff that's in the book.
Who's that?
Like alternate dimensions, monsters, giants, demons, racist caricatures of natives, a long trip to the land of Queen Galaxia.
That's happened, surely.
So it's the cherry pick the bits that fit, and they go, well, what about? Well, this book must be gospel because it says this and this. All right, so if it's gospel, where's the land of Queen Galaxia? Who is she? Where are these alternate dimensions? No, that's not important. It's these bits. But you can't call some words in the book gospel and ignore the rest of the words.
I can even go a little bit further than that. Very simply, that when they were talking about the Don, we're Leeds fans, right?
It's Don Reaver.
Don Reaver's the Don, right?
Yeah.
And when they said the Don,
I instantly thought first thought Don Reaver, second thought Mafia.
So
yeah, but Don the Godfather is the Don.
So the Don simply just means as a reference, as a mister, as a bloke, as something. And when you read how they refer to the Don, it's coming from a Spanish, very much from a Spanish angle.
Which is like Don Quixote.
Yeah. Like, it's Mr. It doesn't mean Donald. It means a male archetype, someone like
a male authority figure, like
strong
a father
male
figure.
Yeah.
A strong male
it
character.
Means
Yeah.
Don in that. So when you read it, it means Don in those terms.
But when you think that we've got
Don,
like, you know, we have as later on we have Don Reaver, we call him the Don because
he's the fucking Don.
yes. Dirty Leeds, love you, Don.
I'm not wearing that shirt. My heart is blue, white, and yellow.
But then, you know, you look at, in a mafia sense, the head of the mafia is the Don.
Mm.
You know, so it's that kind of, it's an authority thing.
It is. Yeah.
And it's not, Don isn't short for Donald.
Donald, it isn't.
Yeah.
It's like a male alpha figure.
But this is the last bit I want to put where they're jumping at things and picking, right? So there's a bit I find around now where Donald Trump's mother's called Mary.
Okay.
And his dad's middle name is Christ.
Christian.
It's actually pronounced Christ, not Christian, yeah. Alright.
His middle name, not his first
Not
name.
his middle name. So we've got Mary Christ. So again, ignoring his other two names, his first name, I think it's Frederick Christ Trump.
So why not his first name?
Right? So it's not Mary and Fred, it's Mary Christ. So, and Trump was born during a lunar eclipse.
Ooh.
It's Mary, Christ, and a lunar eclipse. There's something here.
I
Right?
thought that's his middle name.
Right, so this is where I kind of went, alright, if you want to go over that as proof, I've got more proof for you based on these same facts.
That's not even proof, but go on.
Right? No, if they're using that as proof,
Yeah.
here's my interpretation of those facts, right? Mary's full name is Mary Ann McLeod Trump.
Okay.
Is she McLeod of the clan McLeod? Does that mean Donald Trump's a Highlander?
Chop off your head!
That's the same logic they're using there.
It is middle, any name you can find to fit narrative. Yeah.
So, we've come to the agreement that not only Donald Trump a time traveller, is a Highlander.
It'd be cool if it was. I prefer it if it's a Highlander than a time
I
traveller.
mean, that'd have been a different inauguration where Joe Biden has taken oath of office and Donald Trump walks out of Broadson and goes, there can be only one.
Hey, you fuckers!
Stands in front of world cameras like, ah! It's quickening.
You can't defeat me!
Here we are, born to be
Queen over the back! Forget fucking Beyonce and everybody else. You got Freddie Mercury singing.
Just slashes Joe's head off, hits the quickening, and just his quickening, his time machine comes into the back and Freddie Mercury steps out, singing Born to be King, Prince of the Universe.
You can't it all.
That's it, that's
Freddie Mercury is responsible for all of it. Fuck you, Freddie. I knew you didn't die of AIDS, Freddie. I fucking believed in you.
Freddie didn't die, he just went home.
E.T. on phone.
So, conclusion.
Fuck's sake, man.
Does that believe Donald Trump is a time traveller? Does that believe?
Can I ask you a question? Why are you even asking me this question?
I'm going to start an ALEuminati merch store. It's going to start with a t-shirt that just says, can I ask you a question? You say it about 7 times an episode. Go on, does I believe?
Does I believe that? Do I believe? So, if Donald Trump was a genuine time traveller, a genuine one, had access to this technology, Donald Trump's an egotistical maniac, right?
And that's the impression he gives because he has to play that role to get elected to stop the war.
No, he doesn't even play that role. He is one.
He's a textbook narcissist.
Yeah, so he is. If I had his history and a time machine,
You wouldn't have his history.
I wouldn't have his history. Yeah, so I wouldn't have been caught shagging a porn star. I wouldn't have had a casino go bust.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have had a lot of my history wouldn't have happened. I would have been able to reset it. Because I would have wanted an unblemished history before I got to presidency.
But wouldn't that change the timeline that you're there to save?
Maybe, but I would say I would rather have had an unblemished history as best as that I could before I started going for presidency. Because maybe I'd get a second term and go into fucking...
Or maybe, you know, Trump Casino, Trump Stakes, Trump University were all failed attempts at changing the timeline.
Yeah.
And he's gone, right, I have no choice but to become president then. This is, right, let's do this. Let's change that. No, that failed. Let's change that failed. Right, this is, maybe it's come back and gone. There's 5 timelines. Let's create a casino and we do this. Like we're not in timeline, right, so we're in timeline 2. No, right, so we're eliminating which timeline we're in. Right, this is, we're in timeline 5. I have to become president and do it.
No, because the Mandela effect would have been worse.
Alright, yeah, I'm just throwing shit out there.
Don't throw shit at me! I've had a good week drinking.
I'm getting the logic mindset of these people who make this theory though.
So, I mean, I'm trying to really play. Normally, I give a really long, succinct rationale before I give an answer.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to say, I'm trying to give this the same sort of credence that I would give with any other, even though it's a bit tongue-in-cheek. If I was Donald Trump as an egotist, he is a narcissist, he's an egotist.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much good or bad he's done, depending on the people.
No, he's a textbook narcissist. Yeah.
So, I would have had my history expunged. Anyway, if I could travel at a will, I'd done it and gone, well, that's fucking shit, I'll go back and change something else. Go back. Get it to the point of where I am. It doesn't matter about the world, it'd be where I am right now. I'd have been the leader of the fucking world, not the United States. I had been the king of the world. The whole world would have come to me. If I was him, with the opportunity to change time, I would have made it that. Everybody comes to me.
You're assuming he's got unlimited use of a time machine. What's it? It's not one turn back and that's it.
Well, if it's only one turn back, well, why would it be though? I mean, I don't know. Okay.
Let's say he came back and it blew up when he came back and he can't fix it. So he knows what he needs to do. He's trying to do stuff on the way. Like, I've got to become president in 2016 to stop World War III happening. Don't mean I can't create Miss Universe while I'm here and have a bit of fun.
My brain is hurting, Badger.
But you're the one, like, we look for evidence and we try to find out. You're the one assuming he's got unlimited use of a time machine.
Right, okay.
There's a million reasons why it could be. It could just be one trip back. It could just be, like in Terminator, they send the army back to stop the resistance.
But they could send him back from the future if they wanted to, but
they send him back, but he can't go back. He's been sent back to the past, but he can't go to the future. Once he's back, he's there. So why is it not the same rules with Donald Trump?
Because it's not the Terminator movie.
There's a lot more examples like that, like 12 Monkeys. Bruce Willis gets sent back in past, but he can't return. He can only be dragged back. He can't return.
Okay. Right.
Just think, your argument is he's got unlimited use of a time machine. There's no evidence to say he has. It could quite easily be one trip. It might be how time travel works. It might be that he travelled back and the machine broke and he's not really trying just to fix it.
Our argument has been since the beginning. He went back all the way to the 1890s. That's the way they create a story. So is Donald Trump 170 years old?
His mum's a Highlander.
That's also okay. Does I believe? Yes, I do. I believe Donald Trump's a Highlander. I believe he's 170 years old. I believe that. Fuck's sake, Badger! I'm trying to. I'm trying. My insides are laughing his bollocks off. I'm trying to take this seriously for the sake of the channel, right? Come to a conclusion like we do for any other video, and you're like, Highlander, you dickhead.
I'm not going to be able to pick a top subject for a while.
It's fucking bad with talking. Alright, okay. For fuck's sake.
I won't interrupt you again. I'm rather sick.
I don't even know what to say anymore. I've lost it. I've lost the fucking plot. Right, so, is Donald Trump a time traveller? I tried to be serious and he's fucked me over. I don't know what I'm saying. So, if I had a time... Oh, okay, we'll go to Craig World. If I had a time machine...
My world's more fun.
It's just fucking lunacy. But if I had my own time machine and I could have done whatever I fancied at a whim, I wouldn't have done what Donald Trump did. I would have never... People would not see, with ego, a single failure in his past.
The man who creates a Miss Universe contest is not gonna allow a failed casino and a failed steak and company to fail university to be on his record.
And he would have never ever failed a second term.
No. They'd have gone back and changed that already. Yeah.
All day long. So, is Donald Trump a time traveller? It's a really difficult answer. I believe there's a chance that Elvis is alive more than I believe Donald Trump is a time traveller. And if you ask me if Elvis is alive, I'd say he's with Michael Jackson having a fucking fantastic time, not quite in Jupiter. Do I believe? This is the most ridiculous thing we've ever had to cover. Why have I spent 10 hours investigating this? Talking to you for how many fucking hours? It's Donald Trump's not even a human being. He's not a time traveller. He's not even human. We don't even need to have him answer. We'll let him laugh to the end of the episode.
Right, so, does that believe? No!
But I'm going to go on this side of the defensive. It's really does not believe Donald Trump is a time traveller because that big fucking walking what's it would have done things in a different way.
No. Right, so the reason I came up with this one is...
He was pissed on mushrooms or something.
It was actually a genuine reason for this, right?
Were you Ritalin or something?
I knew this was going to be funny as fuck. I knew it was going to be hilarious.
Hurt my feelings, but
Right. And we filmed an episode that I've not even looked back at yet in the edit, but we both just went, nah. Afterwards, when we'd finished, we just went, we need to redo that, we're not feeling it.
yes.
So I'm not going to say what the episode is on air, but we took a good crack and we fucked it, didn't we? We didn't. I've not even looked back at it yet, but the feeling afterwards was we didn't get that right, we didn't do that right.
It felt like I was having anal sex with two horses. It was not fun.
And it more like I took a bit of a dig, probably, maybe my ego, I'd say I'm digging my ego, but maybe my ego a little bit as well got bruised. I like what we do, I love our content, I'm proud of it, and that was a big, meaty conspiracy theory.
And we got it wrong.
And we got it wrong.
Yeah.
We got it wrong. And that shook my confidence, maybe bruised my ego a bit as well. I'm not too proud to admit that. And so it was like coming off of that defeat, if you like.
It was.
I mean, we'll learn from it. We are going to do that episode again. You'll never see what we filmed, but we will refilm it.
We're not going to say what it is, and we're not going to do it for 6 to 12 months.
No, it's gone to that. We need to get better. We need to be.
And we'll re-look at the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
We won't rehash. Because the rehash would be a fucking disaster.
Mm-hmm.
But that will be the only one we've had to redo, and we'll be honest when we redo it. We'll say this is a redo. Obviously, we fucking fucked up 6 months ago.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to tell you what it is because we don't want you to look at. I don't think we'll mention it's a redo. Because otherwise we just mention what it is now and then redo it in 6 months. Okay, yeah. I don't want people to look at it and go, oh, we did all right there, or criticise it and go, well, you still didn't get it right, did you? You know what I mean? It's like you'll never know which one were deleted.
It was a complicated timeline.
It was, and it got away from us, and we failed it. So coming off the back of that defeat, I didn't want to go into something heavy because maybe a bit of performance anxiety, a bit of doubt that we couldn't do it. So I wanted someone to, when you have a big defeat and you take a big loss, you need an easy win to get you back up and get back in saddle.
Can I tell you about my ego?
Mm-hmm.
I think we could fucking do anything. So my ego is, we might have failed, but we could fuck anything we want. You know. So
I fully believe we can. But what I'm saying is when you fall off the bike, you've got to get back on it.
You're isn't it? You've got to get back on it.
So rather than fail at that episode that we filmed, and then go right next week we'll do it again next week and fail again at it. Like let's have an easy win. Let's have something that's fun and just kind of where there's that little bit in the back of my head going, we fucked that. We need to be better. Where can we be better? And where can we do it? And I'm going to analyse it like fuck. But this is easy. This is fun. This reminds us, rather than going I'm sat here right now, rather than going in my head, we fucked that episode. We had that defeat. We're good enough to do this. Yes, we are. But how did we get that wrong? How did we do it? And rather than going too negative, let's have something easy and something fun, and just remember why we created this channel. So that's why I went for this one. What I didn't realise was, this is why I fucking love Reddit, I'll say it a few times tonight, is that it's a crazy thing to come out with first, but then when you go down the rabbit, it becomes really well built. Maybe not the Trump thing's not well built. Donald Trump is just, here's this book and we've cherry picked these points out of it and that proves this, and we've ignored the rest of the book. So when you get to his uncle,
it's fact.
It's fact.
Historical fact.
Historical fact. And you've got Tesla and CERN and Bilderberg and Manhattan Project. You're like, there's something, I want to investigate this guy. I want to look around him.
But it could have got too much because it doesn't fit with the time travel narrative, just speaking about him though. That's the thing.
Yeah, you need a bit of flavour. That's where the Donald Trump bit comes in. So, yeah, I was quite shocked. I'd seen this theory and I knew about the books and that's what the theory was based on. I didn't know about John G. Trump until I researched this for the episode. It was like, there's some solid conspiracy there. Now, not saying he's a time traveller, but Manhattan Project, CERN, Bilderberg, that shit, there's a conspiracy around him, he's into some shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's elbow deep in stuff.
Yeah, we'll never know what it is, we probably won't be able to do an episode on him because we're going to find out what it is. But you put that in, that's the meat. The bones is the Donald Trump's a time traveller, and then with the bones is the bones, and the meat is his uncle. And yeah, it was fun to do. It was fun to film. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys have enjoyed it.
Don't you know what I don't like? That I had to spend approximately 15 hours on this.
Yeah, but look at the movie now. You're enjoying this a lot. You're better off now than we were last week when we finished an episode.
No, I'm not.
We've had an easy win. We're back at the saddle. We're off again.
Last week,
do something big next week.
Last week when we fell on our ass, I was bruised, and I went, do you know what? I can do better, right? And I got that, and I was like, do you know what? We can fucking do better than this. And I was like, let's fucking prove our worth. This week I've gone, you've made me spend 15 hours researching this bullshit. Let's speak about it for 3 hours on camera with people at home who've gone, what is this bullshit?
But we've given this bullshit, we've got into it in depth like we do, we've laid it out like we do, we've done all the others like we do. We do what we do best when we've done it well.
No, we've not done it well.
We've done it well, we've gone through all the evidence, we've laid it out like we do, we've come to our conclusions, we've had fun along the way.
It'd be funny.
So, it's a win. It's a win. We're back in the saddle. We're good to go again. We've recharged our awesome. We're back. We're good to go again after last week.
I will let him go because do you know what? Badger bought me got me a nice curry for my 40th, and I'll let it go. Otherwise, this would have been me and Badger bottling it in the street for wasting my fucking time.
So, in conclusion,
if you side on the fence of truth, we are not doing this channel anymore.
I'm gonna.
If you say yes, we are done.
The fence is so far away I can't even see it, mate.
It's
so far away I can't even see it.
If you say yes, we are over. This is like breaking up with the love of your life. It's fucking done.
I've got to come. I can't even see the fence. I've got to come down on the side of truth. In the reason, and the side of truth is that this is bollocks.
I am not even a Christian. I thought next week this was a one-man show. I was filming this on my own, talking to my alter ego, going, Craig, what do you think? Well, actually, Craig, I think this.
The truth is, it's all bollocks.
It's the biggest. I cannot believe you made me do this. Right?
You've enjoyed it. You'll thank me tomorrow.
I won't. I'll thank you because we're going to drink for the rest of the night. That's a fucking win. But this was a waste of my my time, my effort, my brains. Do you know what? I didn't play Monopoly with my kids so I could research this. Kids, I'm fucking sorry.
Is it saying now it's a waste of time and a waste of... When this video hits 10k views in a week...
Oh, fucking... I know, fuck budget. Right, I tell you what. If we get 10,000 views in a week, I'll be up on Pornhub, rogering him from behind with a fucking cucumber.
Do I get a say in this?
You do not. You do not.
Okay. So...
I will rape Badger on camera. That's how low my standards are for 10,000 views. Badger will be thumped by Robert Bartlam for 10,000 views in a week.
On that note, thank you for watching. We hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have, and a lot more than he has.
I'm going to end as normal and just say, fuck off.
As always, please
Well,
like,
joking.
share, subscribe. Go tell 2 friends. Tell 2 friends about these 2 fun of Yorkshire.
They don't have 2 friends. The people who watch this video don't have friends.
We know Craig don't have 2 friends, because he's sat here doing this every week. If he had friends, do you think he'd be anywhere? He'd be anywhere else but with me if he had friends.
I don't have friends.
So, like, share, subscribe to all that bollocks, but please, please, please tell 2 friends about us.
In honesty, guys, if you've managed to make your way through this absolute bullshit to the end of this video, he owes you a drink. But in all honesty, we love this channel. We love doing what we do.
We love our content. We're really proud of the content. We love doing this. We love that we have the opportunity to do it. And I'd love it if we could share it with more people, find people who enjoyed it.
We need more groupies, right?
We
need
do.
more groupies. So share this with your other groupies. We've got some original groupies who've always watched. Got a few of those.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You will continue watching, but please do share our content. I think if you look back at our history of content, not just this video, if first time you've seen this, don't believe for 1 second this is all we've got. don't for 1 second think this is the fucking bar, 'cause it's not the bar. This is the lowest we'll ever go. The rest is
Until
better.
next time, Andy gets to choose a topic.
He's not choosing now for the rest of the year. Next week's will be more serious. It'll be a Bartlam choice, I promise. But in all honesty, thank you very much for watching. It's always a pleasure. Me and Badger have a great time doing this. Hope you guys have as much fun as we do viewing, even if it's a load of bollocks. Like this week was the biggest load of bollocks.
This is fun.
But honestly, go look at our back catalogue. I know Badger keeps pointing at the fucking ceiling. I can't see what the fuck he's pointing to. Supposedly there's floating shit happening
I
right
just
now.
feel like you're confused going, I don't know what I'm pointing at. It's like you don't know technology, you fucking boomer.
It's like the Minority Report.
It's quite easy. You're just going up. Our first ever video we did is Paul McCartney dead. It's right there now. So you started.
I did it too. That's a win for me. I won that one.
On that win.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, see you.
Fuck off.